Trap bar deadlift. At the foundation of a deadlift, you should first know how to hip hinge. And if you don't know how to hip hinge, check out my other video, how to hip hinge, to learn the foundation of a deadlift. Getting started, you're gonna step inside your trap bar and you wanna find the middle. Best way to find the middle is using the bar sleeves here on the side. If you're wearing shoes, use your shoelaces. If you're not wearing shoes, I typically don't wear shoes when I deadlift. You're just gonna use the front of the ankle here, but you want to get in line with the sleeves here. Unfortunately, my bar is not cooperating and it just wants to keep rolling forward. That's gonna happen. So just roll with it. Now, I'm going to create something called a bottoms up approach of creating tension. I'm going to start with my toes. I'm going to place my feet in my desired location for a deadlift. That's going to look different for each person. Some people will like a more narrow stance, some a little bit wider stance, toes be straight or slightly pointed out. Play with what feels good for you. So I'm going to dig my toes into the ground. Imagine they're roots and they're just rooting into the ground here, getting the foot stable and engaged. And I'm going to create a little bit of torque. So my feet is going to screw into the ground outward. So they're not actually moving, but you're creating that tension, that outward tension. And that tension is going to travel all the way up to the hips here. I'm going to brace the core like somebody's going to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for it here. Then now my arms, instead of squeezing back like this, that is not going to help you have a strong upper back. Instead, you want to get your lats involved. And by doing that, it's going to create that stable upper back. So one way I like doing that is driving my arms straight down. Imagine you have an orange in your armpit and you want to create orange juice by squeezing that orange. So I'm going to squeeze that orange, drive straight down, holding that full body tension. I'm going to hinge my hips back, grab the bar right in the middle. Now from here, we want to avoid just trying to pick up. First, you want to get the slack out of the bar. Listen for this. Do you hear that clinging? There's a little bit of space between the bar and the weight, and you want to get rid of that space, creating more tension before you even lift the weight. Bottoms up tension here, drive straight down. I'm going to take the slack out of the bar. So hear that slack, taking it out. I'm going to lean into my hips a little bit more. You want your chest a little bit higher than your hips. You don't want to be like this. You don't want to be parallel with the floor. That can put a lot of tension in your low back, and you don't want that. So I'm going to lean into the hips here. Now from here, I want you to imagine pushing the ground away from you. So we're not pulling up. One of the mistakes with people make when deadlifting is they think they're pulling the weight. So they're pulling, and when you pull, your back starts to engage versus pushing with your legs and butt muscles. So creating that tension, I'm gonna push the ground away from me, push my hips forward as I deadlift up, and then I'm gonna lower back down that same manner. When I do my deadlifts, I typically come all the way straight down to the ground, reset my shoulders, my core, breath, and come back up. That's if you're really focusing on strength, like 5 reps or less. If I'm going to do anything more than 5 reps, I'm going to do a little touch and go with these deadlifts. Now, touch and go is I'm going to lower down and go. I'm just going to little tap and come back up. Notice how I'm not bouncing off the floor. It's just a controlled tap and come back up. Your goal is mostly strength. Control, drop the weight down. It'll look a little bit like this. So instead of taking up so much energy to slowly lower that weight down, I'm going to control drop a little bit. So instead of completely dropping the weight, I'm just going to quickly bring the weight down. So that way I'm not using as much energy as I would completely controlling the weight down. Again, that's if I'm doing really heavy weight, focusing on strength with 5 reps or less. There's the trap bar deadlift. Thanks for watching.